What was meant to be a simple, quiet children's mass at St. Joseph's Church in Singapore ended in horror as a priest was attacked right in the middle of service. But what could have motivated such a gruesome attack? Did the priest survive? Keep watching this video to find out. A peaceful evening turns violent. September 9th, 2024 was supposed to be an ordinary Saturday evening at St. Joseph's Church in Upper Bukit Timah. The congregation had gathered for a special children's mass where kids take on roles usually handled by adults. It's a monthly tradition, one that brings families closer and allows the younger members of the parish to feel more involved. The church was alive with the warmth of the community. Laughter echoed through the halls, and the soft hum of prayers filled the air. Parents watched proudly as their children participated, while others sat quietly in reflection. Everything seemed perfect. But just as communion began, the peaceful atmosphere shattered. Out of nowhere, a man armed with a foldable knife emerged, rushing toward the altar. Father Christopher Lee, who was leading the sacred ceremony, became the target of this sudden and shocking attack. The knife struck him before anyone could react, sending shockwaves through the congregation. Screams erupted. Parents instinctively pulled their children close, shielding them from the chaos. Some members of the church froze in fear, while others sprang into action. Brave parishioners, including members of the Archdiocesan Emergency Response Team, worked together to restrain the attacker, risking their own safety to protect everyone else. The scene was surreal. The altar, a place of peace and holiness, became the center of a terrifying moment. Paramedics rushed to the scene to assist Father Lee, who was conscious but bleeding. He was quickly transported to the National University Hospital, leaving the congregation in shock and disbelief. What should have been a serene evening of worship turned into a nightmare that no one present will ever forget. Who is Father Christopher Lee? Now, if you're wondering who Father Christopher Lee is, let me tell you. Father Christopher Lee is more than just a priest to the community at St. Joseph's Church. He's a beloved figure known for his unwavering kindness, gentle demeanor, and deep commitment to his faith. Parishioners often describe him as approachable and understanding, the kind of person who can put anyone at ease with a simple smile. Whether it's a child curious about their first communion or an elderly member seeking solace, Father Lee always makes time for everyone. His ability to connect with people from all walks of life has made him a pillar of strength for the church. This is why the attack shook the community so deeply. For many, Father Lee isn't just a spiritual leader. He's a friend and a guide. The sight of him being stabbed during a sacred ceremony was devastating. But despite the trauma and the pain, he remained conscious and stable, which is a testament to his resilience and strength. Doctors performed surgery to close his wounds, and thankfully, it was a success. The Archdiocese released a statement shortly after, expressing gratitude for the quick medical response and urging everyone to pray for his recovery. They also requested privacy for Father Lee as he rests and regains his strength. For the parishioners, his recovery is a glimmer of hope in an otherwise dark and frightening episode. It's a reminder of his enduring spirit and the faith that binds the community together. Who is the attacker? The man behind this shocking attack is a 37-year-old Singaporean of Sinhalese descent. Authorities did not make his real name public, but revealed that he has a troubled past, including a history of serious hurt and drug offenses. His record paints a picture of a man struggling with personal demons. What makes the incident even more chilling is what was discovered after the attack. When the attacker was subdued, authorities found 4 additional weapons on him. The thought of what could have happened if the congregation hadn't acted swiftly is terrifying. It's a sobering reminder of how vulnerable public spaces can be and the importance of community vigilance. Members of the church, especially those in the Archdiocesan Emergency Response Team, played a critical role in preventing further harm. Their quick thinking and courage likely saved many lives that evening. The attacker has since been taken into custody and will undergo psychiatric evaluation. Authorities are treating this case with the seriousness it deserves. If convicted of voluntarily causing grievous hurt with a dangerous weapon, the man could face up to 15 years in prison, along with a fine or caning. This potential sentence reflects the gravity of his actions and serves as a warning against such violent behavior. For now, the community waits for justice to take its course, holding on to their faith and supporting one another through this difficult time, not an act of terrorism. Now, you might be wondering if this was a targeted attack or an act of terrorism. Well, the police don't think so. Based on their investigations, the man acted alone, and there's no evidence suggesting he was motivated by religious or extremist ideologies. The attacker had previously declared himself Christian, and according to the police, his actions were not linked to any terrorist organizations or religious motivations. Instead, they believe this was a random act of violence committed by someone with a troubled history. The man has a criminal record that includes past offenses for serious harm and drug misuse. While this paints a picture of someone with a violent and unstable background, it doesn't answer all the questions. What triggered the attack that evening? Was it a moment of rage or something deeper that boiled over? These are the questions the authorities are working to answer. The fact that he acted alone and brought multiple weapons to the scene only adds to the chilling nature of the incident. It's a reminder that not all violence fits neatly into categories like terrorism or extremism. But just because it wasn't an act of terrorism doesn't make it any less frightening for those who were there. Imagine sitting in church during a peaceful mass, only to witness a priest being attacked right in front of you. For the congregation, this was a terrifying and deeply unsettling experience. While the motive might not have been religious or political, the emotional impact on those who were present is just as profound. How the congregation reacted after the attack. You'd think such a traumatic event would keep people away from church, but that wasn't the case. The very next morning, despite heavy rain, parishioners showed up in large numbers. It was as if their faith had been strengthened by the attack, not weakened. They gathered to pray, comfort each other, and stand united in the face of fear. For many, attending Mass was not just about worship, but also about reclaiming their sense of security and community. The church held a special prayer session for Father Christopher Lee that evening. This session became a powerful moment of solidarity, where people of all ages came together to pray for the priest's recovery and the well-being of their community. It was a deeply emotional gathering, filled with both tears and hope. The atmosphere was solemn yet comforting, as everyone joined hands and bowed their heads in unity. Adding to the scene were police patrols around the church, ensuring everyone felt safe and protected. Their presence was a reassuring reminder that the authorities were taking the incident seriously and doing everything possible to prevent further harm. The church's emergency preparedness team also played a crucial role, discussing and reviewing safety measures to make sure the congregation could continue to worship without fear. This resilience in the face of adversity is truly inspiring. The congregation's actions sent a clear message. Their faith and community spirit are stronger than any act of violence. They refused to let fear dictate their lives, showing that even in the darkest moments, hope and unity can prevail. For those who attended, it wasn't just a regular Sunday Mass. It was a powerful statement of courage and determination. What's next for the attacker? The attacker's future looks grim, as I already mentioned. He faces the possibility of a 15-year prison sentence for voluntarily causing grievous hurt by a dangerous weapon. On top of that, he'll undergo a psychiatric evaluation at the Institute of Mental Health to determine his mental state and what might have driven him to commit such a violent act. The police have made it clear that they are leaving no stone unturned in their investigation. Home Affairs Minister Kayshan Mugam spoke about the case, shedding light on the man's background. He revealed that the attacker had a history of drug abuse and violent behavior, which raises questions about how such individuals can slip through the cracks. While it's reassuring to know that the attacker is now in custody, it's also a stark reminder of the dangers posed by individuals with unchecked mental health issues who have access to weapons. But the authorities are not just focusing on punishment, but also on understanding the root causes of such behavior. This includes looking into the attacker's past, his mental health history, and what might have triggered him to lash out in such a horrifying way. It's a complex situation that requires a careful balance of justice and rehabilitation. For the community, knowing that the attacker has been apprehended brings some relief, but it also leaves lingering questions about safety and what can be done to prevent similar incidents in the future. The church and its congregation are likely to work closely with authorities to implement stricter safety measures and ensure that their place of worship remains a sanctuary of peace. Events like this remind us of the importance of vigilance and preparedness. The Archdiocesan Emergency Response Team's swift action likely saved lives. Their training and readiness highlight how crucial it is for communities to be prepared for the unexpected. It also sheds light on the need for better mental health support, because the attacker's history suggests he needed help long before this incident. By addressing mental health issues early, we can prevent tragedies like this from happening in the future. Father Christopher Lee's journey to recovery is far from over, but he's not alone. He has the prayers and support of an entire community behind him. And as for St. Joseph's Church, it remains a place of hope and healing, proving that no act of violence can shatter the spirit of faith. So, what do you think about the brutal attack on Father Christopher Lee, and what do you think can be done to prevent incidents like this from happening again? Tell us in the comments and subscribe to my channel for more stories that affect the church and beyond.